Okay, here's how we put in the additional hardware card on the transports. First, we'll have to take the unit, flip it over. On this particular one, this is just the standard 44, but it's the same thing for the 41. There will be 2 screws on the bottom of the cover. Those will be removed. Now these units have 4 feet on them. 2 of them will have to be removed. It doesn't make any difference which ones they are. I'm just going to go ahead and remove these. And they actually come off a little bit more difficult than that. I've already had these off a couple times. Set those off to the side. Now with the cover loose and the feet off, the cover can now slide back. And now you can see why I had to remove the feet, because they block this case when it comes off. Top comes off. Here's the inside of the unit. Now what you need to do is, it's going to actually probably be a little bit difficult to see, but on the back of these units there is this cover that covers where the card currently goes, and we have this blank cover over it right now. This is how the customer would currently have their unit. There will just be a blank cover over it. Now there's 2 plastic rivets in there that will need to be removed first. These are actually a little bit tricky sometimes. You probably won't be able to see this, but so these rivets come through on the inside, and there is a plastic, and there's a round center in them that needs to be pushed out before the rivet can come out. So I just use a flathead screwdriver, and you have to push the center of that rivet out. And once it pushes out, you can see now that that center part is actually out. And now the rivet will essentially, yeah, if you have it out all the way, it will actually pop right out. If you don't have it out all the way, it's a little bit more difficult. As I push it all the way out, that rivet just comes right out. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. Rivet comes out, and that cover will come off. So now what we do is we'll be putting in the additional hardware card, and these essentially, they'll all have some sort of different hardware connection on the back of them, but they're all roughly this size. And what this does is it installs on top of these 3 headers that are located on the inside of the unit. And kind of what you have to do is you have to line those up, and it's a little tricky sometimes. You kind of have to put it in an angle because it can't go straight down because it won't line up correctly. Kind of has to go in at a little bit of an angle to get them all to line up. And once they're all lined up, this just simply pushes down. There's no problem, it's in there very secure. Now what also needs to be installed is this little foam pad, and it has an adhesive on it, and you remove the adhesive on the foam pad, adhere it to the top of that card, and it really, on different cards it needs to be installed in different places depending on what's on top of the card. Like obviously I could not install it on top of these, and every card is going to you just kind of have to find an open spot to put it. But I think in terms of the instructions, you just say that you can just stick it on there and they're ready to go. So that foam pad essentially holds the card in place as soon as you put the cover on, because this card does not screw down to anything. It needs to essentially be held down, even though it is a tight fit. So that's on there. This can either be done as a last step or you can do it now. It doesn't make any difference. Then what you have to do is you need to install a plate back on top of this Now, I don't have the exact plate that goes on this one, but included when you purchase this card, there will be the appropriate plate that goes over it. Like this one will have a nice hole cut out for it. So essentially what you'll do is you'll put the new plate on. The rivets can be reused, and they will go back in. And then the center of those rivets, what we popped out before, those get pushed back in. And they are a little tough. I can't do it with my finger. So you can take a little hammer or whatever you want, tap them back in until they're flush. Do the same thing for the other one, put that in, it's good to go. And then essentially you just reverse what you've done before. So you can put the cover back on. And mine, you kind of just have to watch that little foam pad. Cover goes back on, turn the unit over, put the screws back in, put the feet back on, and you're good to go. And then what we should do is we should inform the users that then when they want to configure the unit, they can go ahead and download the additional documentation that we have. So the other note that I'd like to make is that was the installation for the 44 and the 41, just the standard units. Installation on the rugged unit, it's roughly the same. The only thing is removing the screws from the base is a little bit different. These units do not have any feet on them. They have 4 screws, and those four screws will have to be removed. And then from there, then this cover just lifts right off. And then it's going to be the same thing on the inside. You'll have to remove the rivets, the plate. The card installs exactly the same in there, and everything's the same from there on in. So those are the instructions that we'll have to give to them. So that's it.